Ladies, when you thought about your future spouse, you dreamt about what they were going to be like. Will he be tall, dark, and handsome? Will he pick his clothes off the floor? My man ended up being tall, dark, and handsome, but more importantly, I wanted to make sure we shared a faith perspective and had amazing chemistry together. Unfortunately, there were a couple of things that I did not dream about nor expect that showed up after we got married. Stay tuned and I'll share how you can prevent expectations from happening in your marriage, even if you've been married many years now. For the best marriage advice, give us a like, subscribe, and hit the bell to be notified when we post a new video every Wednesday. Hi, my name is Danielle, and my husband and I co-founded Intentional Marriages. We've led over 100 couples through an incredible marriage curriculum created by our North Point Community Church. We've also sat in couples counseling the past 17 years, and our hope is that in sharing the decades of hard lessons that we learned, that we can turn decades into days for you. What I'm about to share is such a common occurrence that happens in marriages. Most couples don't even notice when it takes place. Watch this video and you'll see what I mean.
You've planned the perfect fairy tale-like wedding that represents all your hopes and dreams. The flowers have been picked, the venue has been chosen, and the tiara is the perfect touch to the stunning bridal gown. You're more in love than you thought was possible, and you say "I do" with the commitment that your love will never waver. You enjoy a blissful honeymoon and share your desires about your future life together. As you arrive back home, you pull up with your individual U-Hauls, not carrying tangible things, but emotional U-Hauls full of unmet needs and expectations. You don't even realize you've placed these expectations on your new mate. You get settled into your life, and then reality hits. Your desires are turning into expectations, and what was once a quirky, fun trait about your spouse is now extremely irritating. What happened? You start fighting about household chores, money, spending too much time with friends, working late.
Notice the unmet needs and expectations? When our marriage experience doesn't align with our expectations, we get hurt, frustrated, and angry. You had a certain idea of how you would spend or save your money. You had an idea of how many kids you expected to have. You also had some expectation around the chores. So what's wrong with having expectations, right? I mean, it's natural for us to expect our spouse to be doing certain things. Well, there is a critical difference between having expectations and having a desire. Now, how do you know if a desire that you've had for your spouse has turned into an expectation? It's when you get angry. Have you had a situation in your marriage where your expectations were in conflict? For example, you're a saver, but every time there's new technology that comes out, your spouse goes running out to purchase it, going against your savings plan. Comment below where you've had an expectation that was in conflict. The author Tim Keller says, if each spouse believes our selfishness is the root of all our marriage problems, we have the basis for a great marriage. Selfishness is lacking consideration for others. It's when we don't get our way. For example, you dreamed about having family dinners together with your spouse, but work and sports have interfered so much that you're now eating by yourself most evenings. Now, we can desire to have those family dinners together, but not expect them. So here's an example of how a desire sounds versus an expectation. An expectation would be, we never have dinner together. You're always at work staying late. We're never together with the kids at dinner time. We talked about making this a priority in our family. How come you're never home on time? Okay, that would be a version of having an expectation and how that ends up getting communicated, because it's usually when we're hurt, frustrated, or angry. But here's how different a desire sounds. Hey honey, I've noticed that lately our family dinners have been really up in the air, very chaotic because of working late, and the sports have really interfered with our schedule. It really would mean a lot to me if we could somehow have our family dinners together and spend some quality time together. Now, That is such a different way. You're communicating a need that's important to you, and you're sharing a desire. You're not communicating it as a expectation. Expectations are a form of selfishness. So when we remove or lower our expectations, our marriage gets better regardless of whether our spouse does or doesn't do what we had hoped. Another common occurrence is typically chores. You expect your spouse to help you clean up the kitchen, or you desire for them to help you clean up the kitchen. An expectation would sound like, you need to clean up, I just cooked. Or I've cleaned up the kitchen the last 5 nights, the least you can do is clean up. That would be an expectation, or at least that's how an expectation comes across, because you're hurt, frustrated, and angry. A desire would come across, hey, I've just had a really long week. I am worn out. Is there any chance that you could help clean up the kitchen? See, a desire requires vulnerability of you expressing your needs. And I would love to hear if you think this makes a difference in how you communicate your desires versus expectations. Removing expectations can lead to a happier marriage. Did this concept free you up or cause you to struggle even more? Wish you had a marriage mentor? Wish you had a marriage mentor to talk this through, how the difference of expectations versus desire? In the description below, there's a link on where you can apply and see if you're fit for our program and have me as your personal marriage mentor. If you like this video, give us a thumbs up, subscribe, and take a screenshot and share it with your friends. Let me know how much your relationship improves by applying this concept. I'd love to hear about it. Looking for ways to stay busy while at home? Or maybe you're having too much together time. These videos will give you 10 ideas on fun things to do, or if you need a solution to your heated arguments, which I'm sure none of you are having, this other video will help you walk through that process. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.